Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the pre-match build-up. It's Manchester United versus Athletic Bilbao. Loads of excitement spreading amongst Manchester, and that includes the Bilbao fans spreading excitement as well. Such a shame they're going to get on a plane home to realise that they are not playing a European final in their city. Crimea River. All United have to do tonight is just not fuck this up in a massive way, and we'll be absolutely fine. So, let's start off with this team on my right-hand side, on your right-hand side, should I say, on the screen. Before we do that, let me get a quick swig. So, the lineup to face, I think it's the exact same as it was in the first leg, by the looks of it. Maybe there's a couple of surprises, Lindelof starting, which I'll get into. But yeah, I think when we did like the prediction, or when I did the prediction, it was pretty much that team. And I said, I think I put Shaw in, but I was like, it would not surprise me if Lindelof would start. So obviously, we always start off going through the individuals in the team. Andre Onana starts tonight. Hopefully, you would like to think, and I don't even want to put this into the air, and I almost say it every time, but it's almost like I'm praying that he doesn't make a mistake. Hopefully, the big mistakes are out of the way, and that was just against Lyon, and it's done and dusted now. We do not need any sort of moments like that, especially tonight. And do you know what it reminds me of a little bit? I don't know if anyone's watched Harry Potter, right? The second film, where Harry Potter's basically locked in his room because his uncle, or whoever it is, has a really important meeting with this new firm, and everything has to go well, and he hates Harry Potter. So Harry Potter's locked in his room, right? And then Dobby turns up. Dobby turns up, goes downstairs, starts kicking shit about and causing a ruckus, and then plants a cake basically on this woman's head, sat away, and ruins the whole meeting. So I'm just basically saying, and that is kind of Onana's spirit animal, do not fuck this up. Don't be a Dobby tonight, Onana. For the love of God, please do not be a Dobby and don't make any mistakes. Don't breed nervousness as well into the back line, because sometimes when he waits on the ball a little bit too much, when he does an awkward dive, when his distribution isn't quite on it, you can see it then in that back line that it becomes a little bit... there is a nervousness and tension in the air with Onana when he does that, and you can see that in the players as well. And obviously, if we can feel it as fans, I'm pretty sure the players will be able to feel it. So, fingers crossed he has a top performance tonight. Maybe he will be called into action more than we expect. No one really knows truly how this game is going to go. People think we're 3-0 up, done and dusted. Maybe that's it. I was listening to, on the way back from the gym before, I was listening to a lot of ex-players on Stick to Football, Paul Scholes, Roy Keane, Gary Neville, all of them done. There's no chance United don't advance to the final now. They was like categorically 100% it is done. But to me, at least when we've spoke, anyone in the chat currently in a minute, or when I've spoke to United fans in general, or my mates, they've all said, nah, there's still a chance United can absolutely fuck this up. 100%. And the reason why they're saying that is because the evidence is on show. Don't forget, we went 4-2 down to a Lyon team, a 10-men Lyon team. Don't forget that in this competition not too long ago. Right? So I'm hoping that Amorim has drilled that into the players' heads before kickoff and said, guys, look, do not go into this with this nonchalant attitude that everything's going to be easy and yeah, we just got to keep it tight and it'll be fine. It'll be like, no, you need to put your foot on their necks and leave this game with a 5-0. Go and win it. Don't be like, oh, even if it's just 1-0 to them or 2-0 to them, that'd be fine. Because no, if they get an early goal and they're pressing the life out of you, and creating this whirlwind and this vortex of nervousness, then it's going to be a long, long day for players involved, for fans involved. So just be at it from minute one. That is what I'd say. With Victor Lindelof starting on the right-hand side, I know he blocked a good effort off the line in the first game, but apart from that, I thought he was pretty shocking. So if you're looking at United's team in a minute, and I know we've got weak areas, and I know that, but the main weakness for me is Lindelof as the right-sided centre-half, and it depends who's starting on that left side for Athletic Club. I don't know who's there. I'll check their team out in a moment. So tactically, it depends who's playing there. Is it more of a speedy, dynamic player, or is it a different kind of player who's going to drift inside and look to kind of link up, like a Ryan Cherky, for example? So it just depends what player's there. So I'll give my kind of analysis on that when I find out. Harry Maguire at the back, obviously the cult hero in this tournament. Valuable experience, dominant in the air. Great switches of play. I expect to see more of that tonight. Will he have another moment? I'm not entirely sure. Does he need another moment? No, he doesn't. He doesn't need it. what he needs to do is have a solid 8 out of 10 performance, clear any ball that gets into the box, use your experience. He's played in many finals and semi-finals before, and obviously played this team before as well, and has been successful in this tournament. So, in times like this, you need to rely on players like that, and I'm sure he'll deliver. I'm sure he'll be absolutely fine. But yeah, I think it would have been interesting to see. I was going to say if Maguire or De Ligt would start if De Ligt was fit, but Lindelof would have come out of the team and De Ligt would have started as the right centre half. So that's the one thing for me where I'm like, ugh, yeah, it would have been nice to have De Ligt, but you can't. You look at the problems that Athletic Bilbao are facing. It's one of them, and it's kind of like, well, we can't really moan considering they've got all their best players out and the 3-0 down. And they've lost experience at the back as well. So who am I to moan? Do you know what I mean? The fact that Shaw isn't starting, again, in a weird kind of way, and I'll get everyone's thoughts on this in a minute. I'll go into the comment section. It doesn't surprise me as much because he was absolutely crap in the last game. Looks way off it, tempo-wise, rhythm, fitness a little bit. If he was to start today, there is no chance he could start like he did in the other games against Bournemouth and the others, or Brentford, because they'll nick an early goal and it's panic stations from then on. Luke Shaw looked all right against Bournemouth when he pushed up to more like a wing back and he was putting balls into the box. But when the ball's being played into him and receiving it, it doesn't seem to be like... And obviously he's been out for a long time in it, so that can be forgiven to a certain extent. But you can't start like that against a team like this in the way they press, in the way Valverde plays. It's just, you can't do it. So, yeah, I'm not as surprised that he isn't starting, but I think he'll still come on and have a moment. And obviously he's another one who has been at the club for a decade, whether people like it or not. He's been here for a while. He's seen this rodeo. He was injured, actually, in the last, when we won the Europa League under Jose Mourinho. And that was almost 10 years ago as well. So you're talking about a player who, yeah, he's got loads of experience, but he's actually never been played in the latter stages. So I'm sure he'll be very eager to play his part tonight and come on and offer that experience and calmness, potentially. Rayon8 is saying De Ligt not in the squad obviously confirms the worst. Copy and paste of last week, and I think it's good enough to get the job done. No. Amrin said in the presser whenever it was, I think it was last night, De Ligt's fine. It's just going to be a week or two, and he'll be back into the team. It's not a really bad injury, so don't worry too much about that. I half expected Ahmad, maybe. There was a lot of rumours floating about that he was going to start. Clearly, he's not fit enough to play the full 90. So what I would probably expect from this game, because Majari got a full rest of fitness, didn't he? Before he literally weren't even in a match day squad because he needed to revitalise his body and all that kind of stuff, because he's been dead on his feet for months, it feels like. I remember the game against Tottenham in the Carabao Cup where we was asking for him to be dropped, and since then he's nearly played every single game. So yeah, he obviously needed a rest. He's got that, so hopefully he's another one who should be fresh and fit, because he can offer solutions in a lot of areas as well. I think what will happen is maybe in the second half, depending on the result, or the score at the time, should I say, if we go in and it's 0-0 or 1-0 or whatever, I think what they'll probably do is move Majari back to where Lindelof is, take Lindelof off and put Ahmad on as that goal threat, as you wing back, potentially. I think that's what would probably happen. And then your midfield is super important in this. I thought Ugarte was really, really effective against Bilbao in the first game. Central overloads, putting fires out. Got a few nice assists as well. That back heel to Bruno was really, really nice. And he basically got the assist for Casemiro's goal, didn't he? Because Maguire crossed it in and then he flicked it. So, yeah, he's getting himself in important areas. I've been asking for a bit more from Ugarte from like the past couple of weeks. I didn't think his performance levels was good enough. I feel like, yeah, you're putting fires out and, yeah, defensively you're doing well. Your numbers are right up there. But on the ball, we need more. He's supposed to be a developing player. I know he's youngish, 23 or whatever he is, but I want to see more range from him. I want to see more confidence and more risk taking a little bit in his passing. I think he plays it too safe at times. And when you watch PSG last night, their midfield is incredible. Fabian Ruiz, Vitinho, João Neves, the technical ability of those boys, and they can do almost as much running as Ugarte off the ball as well. That's when I start to question it and look at it, and I'm like, I like Ugarte, but we need more. There needs to be another step, another gear to go here, because I'm not just happy with him in gear 4. But another one who he's got to have his work cut out today. He's going to be busy. A busy boy. So, yeah. And then equally with Casemiro alongside him. I have to say about Casemiro, I'm happily being proven wrong about him. I thought he was absolutely done after the Crystal Palace game when we got beat 4-0 away. I thought, this is it, man. Like, I know Jimmy Carragher went a bit far, and he's saying, like, leave the football before the football leaves you. But you cannot say, in this competition specifically, I'm not saying in the Premier League he's been good, but there's no way you can say that he's not been good in the Europa League. He's been so effective, whether it's scoring goals, whether it's those first-time passes to unlock defences, his experience in the middle. I mean, the amount of times he's been through tough campaigns in the bedrock of Real Madrid's midfield and just kind of guided players through it with Modric and Kroos ahead of him. He's got so much experience, and that shit is invaluable in these games. Semi-final of the Europa League, having someone like Casemiro with that experience is... I'd go as far to say, I don't know if there are players in Athletic Club. I mean, you'd have to do like some research about this, but I don't know if there are players in there who have actually played semi-finals and finals in this tournament. They might have got to a cup semi-final or whatever, but it's a different kettle of fish in here. And with our team, actually, I know there's some youngsters in there, but I'm sure Majari with Bayern Munich has played some big games. Maguire's been in big games. Casemiro's been in big games. Bruno Fernandes has been in big games. Onana's played in Champions League finals with Inter Milan. So there is that throughout the team, Spine, Onana, Maguire, Cass, Bruno, leaders in there. Because other players around him are a little bit more naive. You got Nachos, Hoylands, Dorgus, etc. Don't have that experience, and sometimes that could be the biggest difference. So really happy to have Casemiro back in there. Again, not surprised that he's starting because it just makes sense, doesn't it? Obviously. Dorgu, for me, started really sloppy. Like Luke Shaw on that left-hand side. Ugarte was probably in that mix of players as well, where they're receiving it and they're just not shifting it quick enough, or they're panicking on the ball, and there's not enough rotations or players dropping deep for him. So it's not just a case of they're not doing it right, it's the players around them not doing it right as well and not finding them. So it needs to be a bit more continuity in the play and patterns and triangles and, just progression. That's what I want to see on the ball. No stalling and stale at the back and crab passing and side to side. That can't be asked for that shit because it just breeds pressure. So, yeah, do not start sloppy. Needs to be on it from minute one. And don't lose confidence. I know it's a new club. It's a new world. You've gone from Lecce to Manchester United. It's a huge, massive difference, right? So there's almost an element of, okay, this kid's young, you know what I mean? He'll develop. And I do think there's a really good player in there. He's just having a dip, perhaps, at the wrong moment at the minute. So he needs his performance just to lift up slightly. And I also think he could be a threat down that left-hand side as well. Like, so many times he's got to the byline and put crosses in and no one's gotten to the end of it. So I think offensively it could be really good. I think the front three speaks for itself. Garnacho will start with. I've liked him in the last couple of games. I think there is definitely something there. He's starting to change my mind. Initially in January when that offer came in for him, and Napoli was like, well, we'll give you 40, but we're pushing for 50, 60. I was thinking at the time, if we get £60 million, I will probably take it if you can bring someone in who is more tailored to that position and can be more effective. Because at the end of the day, it's about what's best for the club, not about what's best for everyone else's agenda or opinions. But I'm happy for him to change my mind, much like I was happy for Casemiro to change my mind, right? I think Garnacho is improving. I think he's starting to look for players a lot more. We saw that against Brentford, squaring it for Mason Mount, and Mason Mount getting on the score sheet. And then he's also got the capability. This is what's so good about him. That goal that he scored against Brentford doesn't get the plaudits that he did because of the nature of the game, because we was, whatever it was, what was he, 3-1 down at that point, 4-1 down at that point. And he just picks it up really aggressively, switches on, gives it to a player, feeds it in back, and he just smashes it top right corner. If he did that tonight, everyone would be talking about it for weeks. So there is an ability there. There is a player there. The question with a lot of United fans, I'm sure all you guys have been saying the same thing as well, is can he adapt to this position? And if he can, then you would probably keep hold of him because there's no doubt about his ability. No doubt. He is a top player. And again, probably someone who will either get an assist or a goal tonight. That is something I would bet on. Garnacho doing something tonight. Rasmus, I know he didn't score against Athletic Bilbao, but Amorim did come out and say that it was his best performance under him. And I think I would probably agree with that. I don't know what everyone else thinks. I think his overall game improved. People will still look at it and say, well, you're a number 9 and you've not scored, so have you actually done your job? with Højlund in isolation, when you've looked at his all-around game, he's not been getting himself involved as much. And strikers in general nowadays don't touch the ball as much. I mean, so many people have spoken about that. Like, it's the centre-backs with most touches and goalkeepers in the league. If you look at any metric in the majority of top 5 European leagues, it's all goalkeepers and centre-backs who are touching the ball the most. So he's struggling a little bit, not been getting involved. But when it has been played into him in the last game, I want to say in the first leg, he was, tipping it off to other players, positioning himself much better, offering threats in certain areas. But it just has to come with goals, doesn't it? He's a work in progress. I don't know where United fans sit on with him at the minute. If they want to persist with him, if they would sell him. But there's so many interesting question marks going into the summer. Who's going to be gone? I'm sure Amarin has an idea already. But if Højlund's starting next season, still playing the way he is, can you do that? I don't think you can. I think we're going to buy a striker and then he's either going to be surplus to requirements or we move him on to a Juventus or Napoli or whoever's interested in Italy. And then the final one, El Capitano, Bruno Fernandes, scored a brace in the last game, scored a penalty, high-pressure moment, delivers, like always, because he is the postman, and scores a second goal and takes it really well. Nice little flick from Ugarte, bags it top right corner, and does what he does. The stats speak for themselves. People want to moan about stats when it comes to Bruno and say, oh, it's just numbers this, it's just numbers that. Listen, any of your teams would kill for his numbers. You look at Arsenal, for example, and I know we always do this comparison, but they would kill for Bruno Fernandes right now. Kill for him. Getting the goals and assists that he does at the rate he does. And then you look at Ødegaard and it's like 2 assists in fucking a year or whatever it is. Ridiculous. He is our best player. He is the captain for a reason. And if we win this tournament, one hand should be his, because he is, in a lot of moments, provided crucial moments, whether it's an assist or a goal. In high-pressure situations, like I said, he delivers. I know he has his things that annoy people, and I understand that. But since the turn of the year, since that whole criticism actually from Roy Keane, he's just been bang goal, bang assist, bang goal, just repetitive every game. He had a bit of a dip maybe a couple of weeks ago where he looked a little bit leggy. But again, he was one who got completely rested, didn't he? So a fresh and fit Bruno at Old Trafford in a semi-final, if he doesn't do something tonight, I would be astonished. Absolutely astonished. So I look forward to it. I really, really do. Please do smash the like of the video if you are just joining us, and subscribe to the channel. Let us know your thoughts on the team. Rain 8 saying to go out tonight would be up there with one of the worst results in the club's history. 3-0 up at home, and both the Williams brothers are out injured. I'll speak about Athletic Club shortly as well. Kevin McVelly says we'll win. Can't wait. Andy Williams saying, for fuck's sake, lads, no early goals. As long as it's Ugarte after the first 20 minutes. This is a perfect game to play on the counter to prep for Spurs if we make it. It's a very good point, Andy. James saying, evening, Nick. Just to nip back to you and Shreyas earlier on the elitism. Do you think it's a similar thing throughout football? For example, finishing 6th in the Championship and getting to the Prem. It's an interesting conversation, isn't it? The main point I was trying to put out there was people wouldn't moan about this if it wasn't United. If, let's say, Brighton, right, or whatever other team you want to name, Brighton, Brentford, whatever, if they made it if they was in the Europa League now and they won it and they got to Champions League, every single person would be talking about how much of an incredible story it is and how they deserve it and how well they've played, and all that kind of stuff. And where they finish in 9th or 10th, I know we're a little bit lower, but I'm saying it's just because United's name are involved in it. And the timing of it as well was very coincidental, wasn't it? Like, we're playing tonight, something like that story is going to get traction, it's going to get spoken about, which I slightly played into because I brought it in as a topic on the show. But they're only doing it because of United. I do think that's an interesting point, though, about finishing 6th in Champions League and getting to the Prem. But then there is playoffs involved in that as well, isn't there? So you have to not only finish 6th, for example, but there is playoffs. So you have to win them playoffs. So if you win a tournament, you've done it, there is valid merit in that because you've beaten teams to get there, no matter what bracket it is. Just Wigan winning an FA Cup is no different to Man City winning an FA Cup in regards to just the trophy. Obviously, the achievement for Wigan is much bigger because they were a lower club. But I think the FA Cup nowadays, it gets you entry to the Europa League, doesn't it? Because that's how we're in it. So would they still moan now if, I don't know, let's say Crystal Palace, they're in the final, aren't they? If they win the FA Cup and they get in the Europa League, If that is still the case, I'm not sure. I have to check the specifics on that, sorry. But if they win the fight, is it people going to moan? Say, oh, they don't deserve it. Oh, what? They don't deserve it. They just beat fucking Man City in a final. And they don't deserve to be in it. Like, give me a break. I kind of hate how this tournament is more about the money than the trophy. The last time we won it was Manchester Bomb. It meant a lot to the fans. It feels like more money driven. Yeah, you had the whole situation, didn't you? I think it was played over in fucking hell, Stockholm, wasn't it? Played over in Stockholm. We had the whole situation at the time. It was very emotional with the arena bombings. And yeah, it was a weird time. So it was like, it's not like you couldn't enjoy it, but it felt weird to kind of celebrate at that time. Like, people will know what I'm on about there. So, look, it would be a crazy whirlwind. I don't even want to start getting ahead of myself and thinking about winning it and thinking about, like, Amarin's first season is coming and won a trophy straight away. And not only just that, United winning 3 trophies in 3 seasons is, given how shit we've been in the league, is incredible. And funnily enough, like I said on the way back before, I was listening to Stick to Football. And the way Roy Keane's goals were going on, they was like, it don't matter, if they win something, they've got to be better in the league. And to be honest with you, I actually agree. Like, me, Sam, Chive, Shreyas, whenever we've spoken about the league games and we've done a preview, and the content is there, you can go watch it, it backs it up. The majority of the lads have said, I'm not asked about the league, just, priority is the Europa League, don't really care what happens in there. But with me, there was still, like, a bit of pride and a bit of, like, I don't want to just chuck games away for the sake of it, do you know what I mean? Like, how many games have we chucked away, and how many times are we going to say that? We're not going to have that excuse next season. We're not going to say, oh, well, we're just resting players for the Europa League when you're getting beat. Brentford are scoring 4 goals against you. Bournemouth are scoring 3 goals against you. You're not going to have that excuse. And Paul Scholes also said as well, like, we could get 5 players in. Let's say we get Cunha, Delap, and then 3 other players, right? Edison, whoever. And then we get injuries to Bruno, Ahmad again, De Ligt, or one of the new players. Like, are you going to make that excuse again? Like, this team right now is not good enough to compete in the Premier League, let alone the fucking Champions League. So it's all well and good. I go back to Andy's comment before about the money situation and how it is more about money now and investing and all that kind of stuff, which I get from a business perspective. But if we actually get into that competition, does anyone in this chat right now think we're going to compete in the Champions League with the way we've been playing? If we played Barcelona, Inter Milan, or one of the semi-finalists now, PSG, mate, it'd be a long, long night. A long night. So, yeah, I mean, the recruitment in the summer has got to be incredible. And it all depends on who leaves as well, like in Rashford and Antony and a few others. And it just depends on our budget, doesn't it? I hate nobody cares for the trophy, really, just want the Champions League money. I care about the trophy. Trophies means a lot, Think about Spurs. Think about United playing Spurs in a final. How massive that is for both teams. Spurs not winning a trophy in God knows how long. Never won a European trophy ever, I don't think. So there's huge pressure riding on that. We got to the final a couple years ago, about 5 years ago, whenever it was, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and lost in Verdansk. If you lose another final on top of that, it's like, oh, you've had 2 opportunities there to go get the European trophy and failed both times. Amarin's first European final as well. A lot of the players on the pitch were their first European final, so there was a lot riding on that game. But at the same time, both teams could easily fuck it up. They could, I'm telling you. United or Tottenham, both could easily fuck it up. But let's talk some tactics, because, I want to move it on a little bit. We know you guys watched the first game. You saw the first 20, 30 minutes. Amarin referenced this in his press conference. The way they pressed, they squeezed the life out of you. Didn't let us have any time on the ball. Was creating problems all over the attacking areas. Left side, right side, central. Struggled to deal with it a little bit. And I remember the Inaki Williams chance where he just headed it over the bar where he probably should have converted it. And you're like, okay, this is going to be a tough night, which we all expected. And then moments happen in the game where you're like, oh, okay. But even still, I think Garnacho got him, didn't he, in the first 5 minutes and scored, but he was literally just slightly offside. The thing is about Athletic Club tonight, they don't have that individual threat. They don't have a Sansei. They don't have a Nico Williams. They don't have an Inaki Williams. So I'm not sure what their second string players are like. Actually, let's have a look at the team. Just to see. Just see who's playing. Because I actually don't know who's going to play on the wings. So they have got... Is it going to take me to a link? Or is it? No, it's not going to. That's fine. Right, they've got Agarubiala in net. DeMarcos. I can't even read that. Ure, Nunez, Ure. Garabieta, Jaguazia, Adiallo, Unai, Berenguer, and Margan. I'm sorry, lads. I don't want to be disrespectful. I look at that team, I don't recognise one fucking player. That Berenguer on the left is the only one who's coming up against Lindelof, coincidentally. The other players, I know a couple of them because we played him. DeMarcos is a vet. He's been about for a while. A striker I know as well. But you can't look at that team and say, and if we're 3-0 up in a semi-final, you look at that team and you think, there's no chance they're going to win. Surely not. That's not a fantastic team. They play well as a team, don't get it twisted, but like individuals who can produce moments, they haven't got a Bruno Fernandes in there. They haven't got a Garnacho in there. They haven't even got a Harry Maguire in there. You know, Vivian, the centre-back's out because he got a red card for pulling Rasmus back. So, Berenguer is the only one I'm like, yeah, maybe he can cause some problems. Maybe the striker could be a bit of a physical threat, like the situation that happened with Harry Maguire. But apart from that, I mean, you've got to dominate this game. Goes without saying, no silly mistakes. No two-footing anyone, by the way. If you get a red card in this game, that's when it can go really tits up. Because when there's a numerical advantage, as we saw with us, you can score goals. And they will score goals if you give them that. So, no misplaced passes, composure on the ball, play with tempo, be a threat. And just remember, it's Old Trafford that they're playing at. Make it as difficult as possible. You lot remember what the atmosphere was like at their stadium in Spain. It was roaring. Like, they was all game for it. And they got shut up within, like, 30 minutes or whatever it was. So, it's about crowd control as well. If you get the crowd on your back, you've seen, again, United can be really loud on Europa League nights. Trust me, been there. It could be a decent atmosphere. But you've got to, they were saying, talking about welcome to hell. Turn Old Trafford into hell. We are the devils after all, innit? So, make it difficult. Make it tricky for him. Make it physical. Make it like, oh, I don't want to be here. That's what I would be saying to the players. Usually, this is a section where I do key players as well, but like as I just referenced, they haven't got any. All their best players are out. Berenguer is the one. If anyone's going to do something, it'll be him. Putting crosses into the box, making himself a threat, drifting inside. They're the ones. He's the one I'd look at. What's that? Someone's absolutely spamming the chat. Keep spamming. I'm gonna put you in timer out. It's not that league isn't important. It's that Europa Leagues are somewhere in our development in the league next season. I wonder what 17-year-old wonder kid they will have. Chivy's saying they still have Berenguer. I agree. That TikTok admin for Bilbao got his 30 seconds of fame. We're going all the way to Bilbao. Is there anyone... I don't know why Siri's coming up on my phone. Is there anyone in the chat right now who thinks that we are not going to do this? Speak or forever hold your peace, or whatever it is they say in weddings. Anyone at all who doesn't think we're going to do this, who is a United fan? I'm curious to know. Because there is a little bug inside me that says, like, well, maybe. Because we've seen this team before, but it would be a monumental fuck-up, wouldn't it, if we did? I mean, it really, really would. If anyone speaks, block him. I get it. I know what you mean. Interestingly enough, on our bench, we have Altay Bayındır. Tom, he was shit, 1-8 in the last game. For all the people who was talking about competition and start Bayındır, why is he not starting him? Sometimes you have to rely on a coach's integrity almost. Like, these coaches are watching the players every single day in training. They know what they're about. It was like the Donny van de Beek thing. Why is no one playing Donny? He needs to get into the team. Just never ever worked out for him, did it? Sometimes that happens. We have the good thing about today is we've got people who we can bring on. Like Mason Mount is another one I've not even spoken about yet. Scored on Sunday against Brentford, back-to-back games, one might say. But scored against Brentford, looked all right, had a pretty good performance, I would say. So he can come on and have an impact. Eriksen, when we want to control the game a little bit, you need a bit of a crafty player to keep it ticking. I'm sure he'll have an impact. Amad Diallo is the obvious biggest one off the bench who Athletic Club will see coming off the bench, and that will tingle in the spine. They'll be like, oh shit, this guy's a problem. So, and you got Kobe Mainu, Luke Shaw. Like, you have full international players in there and very capable players to come on, to bring on, like 5 of them. You could bring on Mount, Eriksen, Ahmad, Shaw, and Mainu, and they would all make a difference. So there is absolutely, categorically, no fucking excuses tonight. Get the job done. Beat them. I don't even want to lose tonight or draw. Beat them. Go and beat them convincingly, and get in that final. And then I'll speak about the final when we get there. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But yeah, that's such a massive game. Couple of quotes coming in from Rasmus Højlund. I'll just read them out in a second. He's saying, obviously, there's still another half to play. So we're going out to win this game. Not only just to see a through vote, but to win it. I think that's the approach. And hopefully we make the final. Any other quotes coming out? Amorim has named the same lineup that won 3-0 in Bilbao last week. Yes. Yeah, we had some news about Matheus Cunha coming in from David Ornstein, actually, which is weird timing. I don't like it when transfers come out, just as the game's starting. It's very, very bizarre. But he was saying that Manchester United have made an offer to Matheus Cunha on personal terms. No agreement yet. Discussions will continue to get terms agreed. So I don't know why there's not an agreement yet, or what they are stalling on perhaps or something. I know Arsenal are sniffing around the deal a little bit. And I think there was a couple of other clubs, but that's interesting to see. Oh, I forgot to mention as well, Bendito Mantato is on the bench as well. So someone at wing-back potentially if we need it, or a bit of an attacking threat. I don't know, it all depends, doesn't it? I don't think he'll get on, but, if we win, if we're 3-0 up again, and it's the last 10 minutes, then I'm sure someone like that may get an opportunity, whether it's an Amas or Bendito. But yeah, I don't think you can afford to really risk them players in this kind of magnitude and this game. I think you would probably leave that unless you're absolutely smashing them. Do you think it's bad to play Lindelof when he's being released? No. Look, for whatever public and fans say about these kind of players, they are still professionals. You don't get to a level of playing for Manchester United if you're not a professional. Do you know what I'm saying? So, if anything, Lindelof will be looking at it, is that I can leave this club by winning a Europa League and playing in a few of the important games right towards the end. Will he start in the final? Probably not. I would say no. I think De Ligt, maybe, if he's fit, it would be De Ligt, Maguire and Euro. Or even when Ahmad's full fitness, push Majari back into the back line and have Ahmad. But he'll just say, I've done a job, I won another trophy. What's he won since he's been here? Because Lindelof was here when Jose was here. So Lindelof has won a Europa League already with Jose, I think. I'm pretty sure. Or he might have gotten the year after. I don't know. Didn't he? Lindelof did win a Europa League, didn't he? With Jose. And then obviously won a Carabao Cup with Ten Hag, won an FA Cup with Ten Hag, and then's got no opportunity to win a Europa League. And that's, a lot more that you could say for him. For an average player like Lindelof, to win that is interesting, isn't it, I suppose? I'm shocked we're not all over Frimpong at 30 million. He's an Amorim player to this core. I don't think he's £30 million, though. His release clause was 30-odd, and that release clause is finished. Frimpong will cost you about 45, 50 million pound in today's market. But we need to focus on players tonight. Forget about Frimpong, forget about any transfers or any of that stuff. The game is where it's at. So this is what I'm going to go into. I'm going to go down. I'm going to wait for a couple of the manager's quotes to start flooding in because I'm interested to get his thoughts on this game. Fabrizio said a package of max 40. I've not seen that. Again, Frimpong, it is what it is. Nathan's in the chat saying, I hope we're not complacent and we go at them from the start. The exact attitude that they should have. Absolutely. If they go into this game thinking we can just fucking do what we did against Arsenal when we had 10 men and sit back and defend, you are naive, stupid idiots. You really are. Especially at home. Imagine turning up for a game like this if you're a United fan, which I desperately tried to get a ticket for this, by the way. It was incredibly hard. And you turn up and you're seeing just a sea of, 10 players within 2 inches of each other defending the box for 90 minutes. Like, fucking outrageous. Do you know what I mean? Bodo versus Spurs prediction. For all the people that are saying Spurs are going to bottle it, which, you know, I get it. I understand why you would go with that. I don't see it. That for them, I know they've got a few players out, but to go to Bodo and lose by 3 goals, I really, really don't see it. I think it'll be nervy for him. I think Bodo might get 1, and he'll be like, oh, okay. And then I don't know who's starting for Spurs. Let's get that game up, actually. I want to see. Oh, wait. They're away, aren't they? And then I'll do my prediction for the United game as well. Who's starting for each team? So for Spurs, they've got Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, Udogie, Kulusevski, Bissouma, Bentancur, Richarlison, Solanke, and Brennan Johnson. I don't think they're losing. I think Solanke will get a goal. I know they've been poor this season, but them centre-backs are still pretty good. I don't see Bodo doing it. I really don't. I hope they do. I think, to be honest with you, in a weird way, I think either game would be difficult, you know. I think Spurs would worry me, like pit in my stomach kind of feeling, just because of previous results, and then Bodo as well. You know, they've beaten some teams, man. If they beat Spurs tonight, they beat Lazio as well. I'm not sure about the run. We've obviously already played them. They give us a pretty good game. Let's see. Who they played? I don't want to see that. I just want to see the schedule. There we go. Thank you. So, they lost to Tottenham recently 3-1. Beat Lazio. I think they brought that game back. Just a win on pens. Won the first leg 2-0, but then lost 3-1, and then beat them on pens. Beat Olympiacos, I think it was. Yeah, 3-0 in the first leg, which was enough to do it. Beat SC20. Beat Tel Aviv. Yeah. Drew with Nice. So they're not, beat Besiktas. And just lost to us 3-2. So they've not had a bad run at all. They've done really well. And the thing is with Bodo, they play really well. They play good as a team, as a unit together. They've got a plastic pitch, I think. Like an artificial pitch, which will make things a little bit more tricky for players who are not used to it. It's obviously cold up there, different kind of weather conditions and stuff. So they will use all of that to their advantage, and they'll make it as difficult as possible. And it will be nervy for them as well, because there's a lot of nerves on Postecoglou, on the Tottenham team, and expectations for the fans who were travelling there. So I think it'll be tricky, but I think both the Premier League clubs will go through to the final. And then that is, like I say, a massive, massive final for United, that, and Spurs. And it really is clown makeup and a little boinker on your nose for whoever loses it. I'll say that much. But in regards to this game, what happens in this game, people? What happens? How the tale of the tape, if you will call it, the narrative. I think it'll be nervy for the first 10, 15 minutes. I think they might have a big chance, like similar to Inaki Williams, or maybe from a corner or something, just goes wide or hits the post. I think United will start to settle. Bruno will start pulling the strings. Garnacho will get on the score sheet, or he'll get an assist. We'll go 1-0 up. They will get a goal late on, and then it'll finish. Or either we'll bring on an Ahmad or a Mount, and we'll get the win, and we'll get through to the final. That's what I think is going to happen. There's probably going to be a couple of yellow cards, I'd imagine, tonight, because you're going to want to, let's say, I don't know, it's 1 or 2-0, and a through on goal, or there's a little dirty foul you can make. People know the dark arts of the game. I think a Maguire will do that, or an Agate or Cass, or a Mazraoui. I think one of them will get a yellow card as well. But Bruno and Garnacho will do something tonight. I promise you. That is signed, sealed, and delivered with myself. What I see happening. Raynate is saying 2-1 United. Ugarte assist. Ugarte booked. Bruno goal. More and more people just joining us. Get your predictions in the chat, and I'll go through them right now. Before we head off for the game, I want to see what people are thinking. Any negative results, and if there is, I don't want to see them. Very excited to see what the tifo is going to be. Hoping we make it hell for those Bilbao players. Yeah, it weren't announced, was it? Bruno Fernandes supposedly approved it, whatever that is. So yeah, I'm interested to see who that's going to be. Not who that's going to be, sorry, what that's going to be. Imagine if it's just like Maguire's head on a tifo and just saying welcome to Barry Island or something, just something mental. I'm all for that. Tifos don't win your games though. It's all nice to have that as a part of the atmosphere and aesthetically it's nice, but it won't win you the game. The crowd being vocal and loud and supportive for the full 90 minutes will win us the game. The players being switched on from the start, picking it about, playing with confidence, rhythm and tempo, and having a bite about them as well. Like, you need to see that from the start. You cannot start this game sloppy. And can't overlook it as well, because all the fans are talking about and all the media's talking about going into this, 3-0 up, they're going to coast into the final and yada, yada, yada. And you can't have that mindset as a player going into it. So drill that as much as you can and just say, lads, Leon, 10 men, you went 4-2 down. If you think it's going to be a fucking walk in the park, get out the team and someone else will take your spot. I can see this crowd being complacent as well, thinking we're already in the final. That's what I'm saying. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Any final's difficult, but hoping to face Bodo, their run where they're not at home is bad. Yeah, it's their final. It's their first final as well. They'll be mega nervous. We've experienced it. That's the one thing we have on our side. We've been in 2 Europa League finals recently. Won one of them, lost the other to Villarreal. We know what that pain's like. Players like Bruno have been there. Rashford, who's not with us at the minute, have been there as well. So we know we've been in finals. We beat Manchester City in the final. We beat Newcastle in the final. So we're capable of doing it. That's the one thing we have over both clubs. None of the other ones have been for a long, long time. So we need to make them our bitch, as one may say. Yeah. All right, let's see. Do we have any quotes from Ruben Amorim? Usually you get a couple just before, it's about to kick off, but I don't get what's going on here. Oh, there we go. There we go. Ruben Amorim changes from the first leg. If possible, change a little bit at the beginning. It was tough on us. We know better in this moment. We are prepared for that. I expect a good environment this time in our favour, but we need to be really focused on this game. Anything can happen, like I said. We are ready for that. Yeah, the one thing in the back of my mind is just the red card. Just do not get a red card, because the narrative completely flips. And I said this on when we did the afternoon show earlier today, me and Shreyas. Check it out if you do get time. We were speaking about this whole tournament, basically, and talking about how some people are saying it's elitism, the fact that, Tottenham or United can win it and then get into the competition. We were talking about that. But I agree with Ruben Amorim's comments there, what he was saying. Let me just pull I expect a good iron fight, but we need to be really focused on this game. I can't remember what I was going with that point. I had a really good point I was going to say then, and then anyone who's having like a brain fart before. It's gone. We'll move on. I don't know what I was going to say. I'm getting a little bit nervous now before the start of the game. They've won 37 home games in the last 4 years in Europe. Who's that? First goal counts. If we scored first, the crowd will respond, and fans, if they haven't already, they'll be booking flights. He loves the phrase "in this moment," and he says "really hard" a lot as well. He goes, "This is really hard, really hard." And I know my players. He's got a certain tone, hasn't he? Amorim, he's got that one of those tones. Any more quotes? I'm not as... the nerves are kicking in a little bit, but I'm not as bad. I don't know if that's naivety or if that's just me being me. I have no idea. What's this worldwide news that's breaking? If I had a nickel for every worldwide news story that broke while I was on my way to Old Trafford, I would have 2 nickels, which is a lot. What's a worldwide news story that's broke? I don't understand. Am I missing something? Amorim's been speaking about on Athletic Club missing the Williams brothers. He says, I think it's always hard. There we go. I don't want my team thinking about that, but of course the characteristics change. They are 2 players that they are scoring and assisting in several games for the opponents. We know that, but let's focus. Such an important game in it. Just lastly to speak on this. This game for Amorim, for United, for Ineos, for everyone involved is so important. Sometimes maybe you can look back at this as a moment with Fergie, for example, when he won his first cup. Obviously, completely different times now. We're in a completely different era of football, completely different financial era for football. And they are pushing money and FFP down our throats. But for supporters to win a European trophy, and we may even do it unbeaten, is incredible. Considering, like, honestly, it really is an anomaly when you look at our season. When you compare it back to back with what we've done in the Premier League to what we're doing now, it's just a world of difference in it. It's just completely different. And even when United, when people count United out and say we can't do it, and are bantering us and shitting on us for where we're finishing in the league, which I take that criticism absolutely. It doesn't matter. It matters in the long term and it matters for perspective, obviously. But I'm saying, just in regards to this tournament, it doesn't matter because we will win it. Because it's just what we do. It's just in our blood. We always come back, find a way to win. It's DNA. It's United DNA going back to the 50s with Harry Gregg and that team. Like, it's just been a part of us. So, yeah. And hopefully that will never, ever leave the club. It's something beautiful about it. There are a lot of teams who have never won a trophy in 50 years. I mean, Newcastle, look how much that Carabao Cup meant to Newcastle. We won that a couple of years ago, beating them in the final. An FA Cup right now to a Forest or a Crystal Palace would be incredible for them. Palace haven't won a trophy in years. Won that last year. A Europa League, every team in the Premier League pretty much would take a Europa League. I'm telling you. Obviously, your Liverpools and Cities have won Champions Leagues, so it's different, right? But the majority of them would take that trophy. It's a big trophy still. And also you get into the Champions League. So what can happen over the summer if we do it? It could change the landscape of a lot of things. It really, really could. Champions League, I know people don't like talking about money and stuff, but what it's worth to the club is 50 to 100 million pound. And not only that, attracting players. If you're struggling to get someone in like a Gyökeres because he wants Champions League football and you can offer it him now under a coach he's played under before, you can bring him in. If you want to push more for an Osimhen rather than a Delap, you then have more space to work with to go and do that. And players are more inclined to join if you've got Champions League football. Some players want to join without it. Cunha, there are players there who want to do that. But it can change the future a lot if we get in there. And Amrin knows it, and the fans know it, and the board know it as well. So there's a lot riding on this game. There's 2 games left. You win them both. Who knows what can happen in the future. There's still a long way to go in the league to find that consistency and to compete in the Champions League. But you have to have good recruitment windows and a number of them to start competing, because you ain't doing it with this mixed bag of squads. You're really not. So I'm not a religious person. However, I will say a prayer. Or there is a religious person in the chat. Please do say a prayer for the team tonight. Let's start well. Let's get into him. If it's 0-0 at half-time, fine. Bring on subs, Mount, Ahmad, make a difference. Go and win the game. I still technically want to keep that, unbeaten streak. Me. I don't want to go in there like, oh, it's just 1-0, that's fine. Like, no, go and win the game, man. You're more than capable of doing it. You've seen their team. You're at Old Trafford. Put in a stellar performance, a professional performance, and carry that momentum into the final, and then go and smash Spurs or Bodo, whoever it'll be. Yeah? I think that's a good place to leave it, ladies and gentlemen. Go and enjoy the game. Start listening to the commentary, the atmosphere, build up around it. I don't want to keep these for too long. I appreciate it's not a watch along, and some people prefer that kind of stuff, and that's absolutely fine. Due to the nature of mine, Sam's, everyone else's lives, it's difficult to fit a full 4-hour watch along in, and do you know what I mean? So I always like doing these things, and everyone who joins in and gives their opinions and conversations is great, but also go and enjoy the game as well, you know what I mean? And we're going to be live straight after it, hopefully, saying we are in the Europa League final. We've had an incredible performance, 2-0, clean sheet, Bruno goal, Garnacho goal. Light work. We're in the final. We've got Ahmad back. De Ligt starts to come back. And it will save the shit show that's been in the league, won't it? I suppose. Appreciate every single one of you. If you can, be as kind to leave a like in the video for me. That would be really nice. And drop us a follow on socials. We'll be live straight after the game. I hope to see every single one of you there for all your opinions and your passion.